to finish Women's History Month, we're looking at some special ladies in Star Wars tonight.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another amazing episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And we are back with a special episode. We are going over Season 1 of Star Wars Forces of Destiny. And I don't have the button because I have too many voicemails. Sorry, folks.
Now we understand Andrew's struggle this entire time.
Yep. We should just send Zencaster email, but hey, we need more spots.
We need more spots. For an extra $5 a month, give us 4 more spots.
All right, but yes. So if you don't know, Lucasfilm, they put out some short little 2D cartoons. A couple with credits. They're 4 or 5 minutes long, but the actual episode's only 2 or 3 minutes long. Mm-hmm. And so there are 2 seasons of it, each with 16 episodes. And so we are covering the first season of the first 16 episodes, obviously. And the Forces of Destiny is a little series that focuses on the women of Star Wars canon. And so have you watched any of these beforehand, previously, Drew?
I think I've seen them. I remember them going I think they were on Disney XD.
I think so, yeah.
Channel.
And then they were put on the YouTube,
Oh, maybe it was a YouTube. Maybe they were a YouTube.
Well, they're both, I think.
Oh, okay.
And so,
but I know about this because I'm pretty sure they launched this series with the same time they launched the toy
Okay,
dolls.
because season 1 was in 2017, I believe, if I look.
So before Disney Plus, obviously, but
right.
they came out alongside they weren't Barbies, but they were kind of like Barbies, but of all these characters.
Right.
So I would say they're kind of but it made you feel like it was pretty much like they used to do with the toys, we were talking about the old Clone Wars show, the first one, they made that show up to sell the toys because they hadn't they didn't have enough content, and it was kind of similar to that. I assume it's not canon.
No, it is. I believe it is canon, actually.
Really? Because that's interesting. Because there's some characters that interact in here that we've never seen interact before.
Well, that's fine. That doesn't.
No, I'm just saying it. For instance, I mean, we'll get into it, but there's some characters that I'm like, what the heck? So she was there,
and so I had to go watch an episode of Rebels to see something to make sure it made sense.
Canon?
So nothing has contradicted canon in these. So I believe they're canon. I can't really. It doesn't say on Wikipedia if it's canon. I would have to deep dive to Google's, but to see if it's. But I believe it is canon.
The chat can help us out. Look into it.
And so some of them, there's kind of whatever, but some of them actually add to the story, which is interesting.
Yeah.
And it's it's not obviously changing Star Wars, but
no,
it kind of adds just a little more detail that maybe some of them with Rey could have been deleted scenes or something, maybe.
Jericho said Wikipedia says it is canon. So
I said Wikipedia. I'm not on Wikipedia.
Well, she's on Wikipedia and it says canon.
Sorry. No, that's good. Thanks, Jerica. You the real MVP. As
You
they
heard it
say.
here first.
But we might as well just jump into it. And so
Yeah.
when I watched these over the weekend, I kind of watched them by character rather than in order, but we're just gonna go in order of release. And so the first episode is called Sands of Jakku. And this is obviously about Rey. And so this one and episode 2 are kind of like you can watch those back to back, because these first 2 take place between the time Rey finds BB-8 and when she gets to Nema Outpost. And so we just see them 2 pair up, and then they get to the town. But these 2 little short episodes take place in that time span. So I think it's interesting. Like, they could have been like a deleted scene, but they're kind of expensive. Like, if you think about it, if they tried to like animate all this, like CGI and stuff. But the first one, so when they're going along traveling, they encounter a monster, sand monster of some sorts. And so, if you remember from The Force Awakens, when BB-8 escapes the town after Poe is captured, you see a little 2-eyed creature sticking out of the sand. You remember that, Drew?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so we see that creature again in this episode and in the next episode, actually. And what's interesting is that's just like 2 little eyes, but he's like a giant crate dragon type thing under the ground, this giant worm thing. And we learned that they eats garbage, or eats like what was the word they used? Junk, I believe. And so it wanted to eat BB-8, but
is it kind of similar to, like, I forget what creature was it in Tatooine that eats like energy, or like
you're thinking of in the Bad Batch when they go to that moon and it steals like their power cells or something.
Yeah, it's like that, like.
And so it's kind of like that. It's eating trash for energy or whatever. Yeah. And so they're BB-8 and Rey. They're running away, and they're just trying not to get killed. And then they get back to what, the AT in the sand, right? Mm-hmm. And they're standing on top of that, and then they just throw him some trash.
Yeah, her hut.
And then he's been fed. So that's it. So it's just like a little fun little like chase in the desert. And so then the next episode is BB-8 Bandits. And so while they're continuing on to Nemo Outpost, Tito, who tried to capture BB-8 beforehand, that when Rey finds BB-8, he comes up with 2 bandits, and they try to steal BB-8. And so there's kind of like a speeder chase scene, blah, blah, blah. And then they go into the ruins of the Star Destroyer. And fun fact, or not a fun fact, but the worm monster comes and eats the speeders. And that's how they escape. So I don't know. I think it's an interesting story to have that we don't get into Force Awakens that during that same movie. So
yeah,
I like it. It's a little more context. And
well, it's definitely interesting to think that they're canon. It changes like my whole perspective of the show.
Really?
Yeah, because like, especially like even like the next one.
Like, the Ewok Escape.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can jump in that. So Ewok Escape. So this is a really simple thing where Leia is walking through the forest.
First of all, can we mention all the voice actors are really good, except for Leia's.
Well, because
yeah, R.I.P.
Is she R.I.P. at this time? What year did she die?
2014. She died 16, I think.
16.
This is really bad that we don't
No,
know.
I think it was 16 because it was around the time Rogue One came out.
Chat was out.
I think so. This is 2017, so she would have died already.
Yeah.
But I thought it was
she
decent.
wouldn't have done it anyways, too.
No, she would have done it because Daisy Ridley voiced Rey. Jyn Erso was voiced by Felicity Jones.
Mm-hmm.
And you got Ashley Eckstein.
Yeah.
And then
she was 16. I was right. Yes.
And then the voice for Padme in the Clone Wars voiced her, and then
yeah, but like Harrison Ford didn't do Han,
right?
Like
because it focuses on the ladies. Got to get the ladies to do
and
their
they
parts.
probably couldn't afford to pay him like
$25 million for that. But anyway, Ewok Escape. So they're Leia's walking through the forest with some Ewoks, or is it just one Ewok? Wicket. And so this is
well, that's sad. Okay.
So this takes place.
Erica wrote in the chat real quick that it was when Rogue One was in theaters because she walked out of the theaters and saw the news. Like she walked out of that movie and saw the news. That would ruin such a good movie for me. That's sad.
So I think this episode would take place right after Leia meets Wicket, and they. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of on their way to
this is before she gets her straight hair and changes her whole outfit.
Right, and so they are walking through and they encounter some stormtroopers messing with some Ewoks, and then Wicket comes to the rescue and takes out the two stormtroopers, and then whatnot. But then,
do you like the art style of the Ewoks in this?
Just Ewoks. Just little teddy bears. It's not.
After
really
watching the show so much, they're so ugly in this show compared to the Ewok show.
I didn't even notice.
Well, that's because
what I did notice is weird is I think all the female characters they have this stripe across their nose.
Yep.
Like, what is that even supposed to be?
Their nose. I was gonna mention that. I think it's ugly. It's a weird.
I just don't get it. Like, is it to help? I'll have to go back and look, but I wonder if it's to help
identify
them draw the bridge of the nose to
I think this is an art choice.
I don't know. I first noticed it with Ahsoka, and I was like,
yeah,
Ahsoka doesn't have that on her face. Like, this is weird. And then I noticed all of them had it, or almost all of them, or something. But
yeah, it must be. It's definitely right before she Leia changed because they show her walk out with the new outfit.
Right. Yeah. So she goes. They go to the village, with the Ewoks, or she goes with the Ewoks to the village, and then she changes and gets a spear. Did she have a spear in the movie?
No.
Is that a thing?
No, but she could have had it sitting down on a corner or something.
Obviously, she could have.
I still remember that because she didn't fight again until after Luke left,
Right?
And then she changes again. So
I guess, but I don't know. It's weird that they made a point to show where she got that nice dress
and the spear.
But the spear was not in there. It's why would they add that when it has nothing to do with the movie? It's weird. But I don't know. It's interesting. All right, so that's Ewok Escape. Really simple. Episode 4, The Padawan Path. This is when Ahsoka shows up. First episode. This is great. So she is. The other episode that she has 3 of them in this season. There's one that's really
the first one of season 2. I accidentally watched it because
I didn't watch season 2 yet. Don't spoil it. Spoilers.
Not bad.
But anyway, so in this one, Ahsoka is running late to a ceremony at the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, and so Anakin. So we see in Clone Wars animated show that there's like that courtyard with a tree, force tree, whatever you want to call it, and so Anakin and Yoda are waiting there for Ahsoka to show up so they can do this ceremony. We don't really know at this point what the ceremony is. But while Ahsoka is running to the ceremony, to the temple, she hears screaming, and she's like, "Oh crap! People need to be rescued." So she jumps into Jedi mode, and there's a giant droid that is malfunctioning, and it's killing everybody. Or doesn't kill anybody, but it's trying to kill people.
It's just glitching out.
And so she has to like fight this giant robot to like save the day, which reminded me of season 7 of the Clone Wars when she has to like fight off those or chase after those demolition droids or whatever. They kind of look similar, big bulky things, and so it was interesting that they had that same. She kind of had to do the same thing, fight off these giant droids or whatever. But so she does her thing. She cuts one of the legs off and cuts a water pipe, and it sprays the water on it and kills it. Like, awesome. And so that was cool. And then she gets to the ceremony, and then Yoda gives her an extension to her Jedi bead braid. Since she doesn't have hair, she has beads, which I didn't know anything about Jedi braids, but I didn't know until I had this episode that they add length to it, like beads and stuff, to like show like
their growth
in the
Jedi
things
Order.
Learned. And so like on Wikipedia, like it states like this color thing means this, like they did this, learned this thing, this color does this, but like her pendant that she got attached on like wasn't any of the colors listed. So like, oh, I guess I don't know what this means, but so I just thought that was cool. I didn't know that. Did you know about Jedi braids?
No, I just thought rat tails are ugly. That's all I got out of that.
You could pull off a rat tail.
I don't think anyone can pull off a rat tail. Did you have anyone that had a rat tail at school? Because I did.
No, but my brother Jonah had a rat tail as a kid.
I don't remember that.
Well, he would have been. It might have been before. It was like before you would have ever been able to remember it. So like,
oh, I was like little.
I felt like maybe when he was in like late years of elementary school and middle school, maybe.
Oh yeah, I was like a baby.
Yeah, like I remember him having that, and then that's all I remember. But he's the only person I ever remember that had a rat tail. I'm telling you, they got to bring him back.
Start with you.
So if I grow a rat tail, will you grow one?
I literally can't grow hair.
I don't understand. Back of your head.
That would be so much worse, dude. That's so gross. Like just
so you're telling me if I grow one, you're not gonna grow one?
If you grow it to the point where you can braid it, I'll do it. But it has to be long enough where you can actually braid it.
Dude, that's like. Well, you probably need like 4 inches just so you can like have enough to like hold on to.
Mm-hmm.
That would take me
at least a year.
What my hair grows what? 3/4 of an inch a month or something? Is that how fast does hair grow? I don't even know.
Is that real?
I don't know.
That's
I'm guessing.
A thing?
Well, because I cut my hair like every like 6 to 8 weeks. I just buzz it off, and I feel like that hair is like in the sink is like less than 2 inches. It's way less than 2 inches. So
but
maybe
doesn't everyone grow hair at different speeds?
I don't know.
Chat, help us out.
Let us know. you might need Wikipedia for that one, not Wikipedia. Yeah. So
because Wikipedia, they're like, well, Wookiees grow hair faster than anyone. So
right. So that was Padawan Path, very simple. Next one, Beasts of Echo Base, and this was a kind of a I feel like you had a special place in your heart for this one because we see a Wampa, and
Jericho
so
says people grow hair at different speeds, so
I see. All right, fun.
thanks, Jericho.
But so this takes place before Empire Strikes Back, but they're on Hoth, and it seems like they are.
It's like when they're building
the tunnel system and whatnot, and Chewie goes missing, and so Leia and R2D2 and C3PO, right? Those three, they all go and they go find him, and it's just funny that because like you see them looking and they're shining like the flashlight or whatever, and you see the light going Chewie, he's just sitting there, so they only see him where the light's on, but as the viewer we can see behind him, and he's being held by a Wampa who's sleeping, but Chewie's like scared to like.
Chewie. The thing about this for me was like Chewie is the weakest wimp because like they're supposed to portray like the girls are like, you know what I mean, like this is their show, but Chewie would never be like that scared.
I don't know, dude. I think it's like a little dog seeing a giant dog. Like
He's
they
like
just get
building
skittish.
the door like like
you'd be
I don't
scared
think it'd
too.
Be that. Well, yeah, but I'm not a Wookiee. I don't rip people's arms off for fun.
I'm just saying that the giant Wampa, like.
No, I mean you're not wrong.
He's not gonna be able to like fight him, and maybe he's so strong that he couldn't like rip his arm off.
I just don't understand why they didn't kill it. Because this is most likely the same Wampa who captured Luke at some point.
Do you think it is?
I mean, why not?
I think there's only one Wampa on Hoth. He's the last of his kind.
Well, he's dead now. Or no, he's not dead. He has one.
Did he die?
Didn't they just cut off his arm?
Cut off his arm, but I can't remember. Did he die? Get killed?
Chad was up. I don't remember either.
This is so bad. I haven't watched it. I gotta watch the movies, all the movies.
I haven't
again.
watched them.
I used to do it like try to do it like once a year.
Mine is coming up. I always watch them on May 4th.
That's a lot of movies on one day, dude. You're up to 11 movies now.
I just watch Rogue One and then the 3 originals.
Oh, not too shabby. But yes, so anyway, back to
maybe I'll add Clone Wars in.
Watch all the Clone Wars in one.
No, just like the last 4 episodes.
Oh, you could do that. So the Wampa wakes up, and then Chewie is able to like escape, and then Leia's like, "I'll distract him while you get the door fixed because the door doesn't work." And so they're R2D2 and Chewbacca. They're trying to put the door together, do all electrical work while Leia's being chased around, and then they run. She runs through the door, and the door still doesn't work. And then R2 does his little whatever he does with his little arm, and it closes the door. And Leia saved the day.
Yep.
So that was fun. I'm really mad that I wish there was like TV series that took place between the movies of the original. Like I know there's comics or something, but like that's lame. Like I want to see like.
Well, I think they should go back and like maybe do those comic series as like a cartoon show or something.
They could, like even if it was
like we're kind of getting that after 6 to 7 with like the content that we're getting now, but
right.
It would be cool though, like you said, like to get in between all the movies have content.
Because like I want to know like what Luke was learning between 4 and 5, and like that'd be fun. It could be like it would be probably in the style of like storytelling of like Rebels, where it's like they got to get this to like for their base, and like it'd be cool to see them like getting supplies and going on missions.
Cool. What if they did a live action with deepfakes?
That'd be so expensive, dude.
That'd be
so expensive on everyone.
But that'd be dope.
I'd just be fine with a cartoon. Like,
no, me too.
Like the cartoons are the animation's so good nowadays. Like,
yeah, as long as it's not this version.
It's 2D.
I want like Clone Wars, Bad Batch style. Bad Batch.
Right.
Day
All right.
only.
And so, Anthony Daniels did voice C-3PO in this episode. So they did get one guy to come back.
There you go. It's weird because, like, this next episode, I paused it at the beginning, and Ahsoka, you can see that mark, but then you can't see it on Padme.
Really?
But I know that you see it later on throughout the show.
Yeah, because I think Jyn Erso has
Jyn for sure you can see it because it's almost red for her for some reason.
Yeah.
Like the shadow placement of her eye. But if you just like pause it at like, are you watching it or no?
I am not.
Oh, okay.
I just have Wikipedia up with the list of episodes. Like, but yeah. So next one is. I just lost my.
Episode 6.
The Imposter Inside. So this is actually, I think, adds some really big insight into Ahsoka because of a line that she says. But just going over the plot, so Ahsoka does kind of like some security for Padme while she's gonna have a dinner to negotiate stuff with was the Ithorians or something, like to get the Ithorians on board with the Republic on something, and so and Ahsoka is there to kind of do security, and one of the servants or aides or whatever that's setting the table, like sets the table, and then Ahsoka is like, Ithorians don't use silverware. Why would this person like put silverware on the table? Like, this is like really like disrespectful. And they go to like stop the aide, and then we find out the aide is like a shapeshifter, like we see in episode 2.
What are they called? Changeling?
Is that what it is? I don't know.
I think so. Chat, help us out. I'm pretty sure. But okay, was Ahsoka's lightsabers always both green?
Well, one's green and one's like a yellowish green.
I thought it was like blue.
No, blue is in season 7.
Well, I know that. I thought she had like one blue, one green for some reason.
No. Because that's why when like she gets her sabers in 7, she's like, Anakin's like, I made some adjustments, and like she looks at him like, I think you're a little bit better because they're a different color than she had, and it's his colors. So
yeah.
So it's always been green and then like a yellowish green. Like sometimes when you're going back and forth, like it almost looks the same green, but if there's still like you can see that one's a little bit more yellowish. But yes, so the shapeshifter, reveals himself or herself or whatever.
Themselves.
And there's planted a bomb under the table, and like Padme like kicks the table to Ahsoka. Ahsoka uses her sabers and cuts around the bomb, and like force pushes it outside, so it blows up outside. And Ahsoka saves
you could have force pushed the whole table outside, but
I don't know. If it's lighter, it's easier to quickly
to chuck.
The chuck, yeah. But there's an interesting line that Ahsoka has where, so before the meeting is supposed to start, Padme's like, do you want to stay? And Ahsoka's like, well, I shouldn't be hanging out with politicians or something like that. Which is interesting because Anakin was buddy-buddy with Palpatine, the Supreme Chancellor. And so like Ahsoka knew that as a Jedi, she shouldn't be associating herself with political meetings and negotiations and all that stuff, which is insight on to her character, how
she was already wise enough to like.
Yeah, I've said that Ahsoka is everything Anakin should have been, where Ahsoka gets it and she notices that linking herself with politics is bad. And we see that in season 7 of Clone Wars, where she sees her discontent with the Jedi Order and their failings and all that stuff, where she kind of expresses that more clearly. But like here's like a little like insight of like even beforehand, before things went crap, she already had an ideology, a belief system that prevented her from compromising what it truly means to be a Jedi. So
yeah,
I like this episode a lot just because of that. So this next one, episode 7, is called The Stranger, and this is a episode focusing on Jyn Erso, and obviously this is before Rogue One, because
R.I.P.
R.I.P. But some stormtroopers see like I don't know if it's like I don't know, the girl is probably like what 12 years old, 10, 11, 12 years old, something like that. Not too old, but probably not a teenager yet. Who has a cat, a loth cat, and so the stormtroopers see this kid and is like, "You're in violation of code," implying that she's not supposed to have a pet, and so they try to take the cat, and then Jyn Erso intervenes and
busts a cap,
saves the cat, destroys or kills the. Did she kill the? She didn't kill.
No, she knocks him down, and then they keep chasing her too.
Yeah.
And then she shoots him. They don't kill anything in this show.
Well, what are you gonna do? So she saves the cat, brings the cat to the kid, and the kid's happy, and they live happily ever after. So the next one is Bounty of Trouble. And so this is the one where I had to look up if there was any contradiction with Rebels, because in here, Sabine, this episode focuses on Sabine, but she meets up with Princess Leia, and she kind of fake kidnaps Princess Leia to pass on, so Leia can pass on information to the Rebel Alliance. And so,
but yeah, at this point, Leia's being guarded by stormtroopers
because they think she's still part of the Empire. She's part of the Empire, and she's not.
Yeah,
they don't suspect her of anything. So, so there's one episode, spoiler alert, in Rebels where we see Princess Leia. And again, she's also at this point still on good terms with the Empire. They're trying to protect the stormtroopers, are there to protect her. And so in that episode, Sabine is there too. And so I was like, did Sabine introduce herself in that episode? And she did not. It just kind of like they just happened to be in the same room planning the mission or whatever. And so it's fully, the continuity works where Sabine met Leia probably a year or two or something earlier, and then they just see each other again here, but they don't acknowledge it in Rebels. And so I thought that was interesting.
So this is after that, right? The Rebels stuff?
No, this would be before, because Sabine introduces herself. My name is Sabine Wren.
Gotcha.
Whereas in Rebels, they never really formally met. They're just kind of like in the same room together, planning a mission. And so, like, between the lines, obviously, in Rebels, they would have, hey, good to see you again, Sabine, or whatever. But they just didn't show that in the show. So I'm glad that they kept that going. But what is interesting is in this episode, IG-88 shows up to
try to capture.
Was it? So was that what he was trying to capture?
Yeah, because the whole point,
Leia or the Leia. Data tape.
I think it was Leia. Because
here on Wikipedia it says the droid attacks them for the tape.
Oh. Well.
So I guess somehow whoever IG-88 is working for got news that there was going to be leaked information somehow, and they wanted this information, and so IG-88 loses. He doesn't win. So they kind of, Leia and Sabine make it look like IG-88 is the one who took Princess Leia. So
yeah, it was like the one that was
trying to capture Princess Leia. So like then the stormtroopers come up and can't hit him at all.
Good Lord,
dude! I saw a meme the other day. It was like one of like the cartoon Batman, where like stormtroopers are shooting at Batman, and like he goes to like take his cape to like be like bulletproof, and then like he's not getting hit, and he like looks out like, and then he just goes on his phone while they're shooting at him.
Oh, did you watch the new Batman yet?
I did.
Oh,
I watched it a couple weekends ago.
What did you think?
It was a good movie, just that I just don't care because it's like I just don't care. Whatever. It was a really good movie. It's one of the better Batmans out there. I really like that. It was. I wouldn't even consider it a superhero movie. It was more of like a detective mystery,
like Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, it was more of like that. So like, I would say if you're not a fan of DC movies,
you'll like this movie.
Like you'll like this one because it's not. I wouldn't consider it a superhero movie, so you could just kind of think of it as a mystery crime drama with a guy who wears these bat suits and has good technology. Like, so I would recommend it. It's very. It's the most gritty.
It didn't feel like 3 hours, right?
Right. It felt. I would agree with that. That it was 2 minutes short of 3 hours, and it went by pretty well. So the pacing was good, where it didn't drag on or anything. So
some people are like, it took forever. I was like, I didn't feel like that at all for me.
But yeah, I would recommend it to anyone who, especially if you're not a DC fan, you can
me
still
too.
enjoy it.
This weekend,
I know you hate DC more than anyone in this world.
This weekend, I watched The Dark Knight again.
Yeah,
and I originally thought The Dark Knight was better than this one, but I think I might be leaning more towards the new one.
Oh
I have to watch it again though to like actually say that.
The Dark Knight is.
It's good.
I have to put that in my top 10 movies of all time.
I really do like the good Dark Knight. I just also think, is it right for us to like it because of the Joker's performance? But that character as the Joker, like, there's a lot of like
that movie is. Yes, Heath Ledger's Joker is amazing in that movie.
It is,
but that's not the only good thing though. Like everything else in that movie is so great.
No, that movie is good. Besides that, I just know that's a lot of people's favorite because of that. But are we praising a character who literally put someone to the point where they died? You know what I mean? Like it is kind of interesting.
Okay, well, when we start the philosophy of of something podcast, we'll talk about
something podcast. But yeah, I'm happy you liked it. I totally forgot. I should have brought it up before we started the
podcast. So Leia escapes with the stormtroopers, and Sabine takes the information to
the rebels,
the cell, because Hera is there to pick her up or whatever. So, so next one is newest recruit. And so in Rebels, we see this same new character, Ketsu. She was an old friend of Sabine, and they're kind of like on bad terms in the Rebels, but then they kind of like get on better terms by the end of whatever episode or story arc. And so
is that the one we're on?
Yes. Well, it's the one with Sabine, IG-88, and was one, and then the next one is the one with Ketsu.
No, both the Sabine next episodes. One is Tracker.
No, I'm looking at it right now. 8. We're on episode 9.
Yeah.
Newest recruit.
Nope, that's 12 for me. On Disney Plus is 12.
Oh, well.
I mean, it doesn't matter.
But we're doing newest recruit now because that's what Wikipedia says, and I'm in charge.
The one with Han Solo is for me.
Oh,
I guess I'll jump to 12.
So Ketsu's. So this would take place after the Rebels episodes with Ketsu, because she seems to be doing.
I don't remember her episode at all.
It was in. It might have been. I think it was season 1 of Rebels.
Oh wow!
So, like, I forgot about her until watching this too. So, but I remember because she's voiced by a character from. You ever watch that show Suits on USA? A lawyer show. She's like the lady who's like the head of the law firm. Oh. Like she voices this character Ketsu. So I recognize that voice. It's a distinct voice. But so let's see. Sabine is trying to steal food from the Empire, but Ketsu at this point she's kind of getting involved, but she doesn't want to be part of the rebellion. But Ketsu sees a kid who's in trouble, getting caught in the back and forth of blaster shots, and so Ketsu runs, goes, rescues the kid, and then Hera comes in and rescues them, and then Ketsu decides to join the rebellion because I guess when you save a kid, you're like, I guess I'm a rebel, gonna join a rebellion now. So
opens her eyes.
Yep, she kind of likes saving people, I guess. So that's what kind of tips her over. So this would take place during some time in Rebels, which is not really clear exactly where, but
yeah.
But it's just interesting because it adds just to that character because we didn't get a lot of that character, so that's nice. Next one for me on Wikipedia is Tracker Trouble.
Yeah, that was 10. That was my 9.
Okay. And so this one is another Rey episode, and this also takes place during the events of The Force Awakens. And so when Rey, Han Solo, BB-8, Chewbacca, and Finn are on their way to Takodana and Maz's castle, while they're in hyperspace, they realize that there might be a tracker on board from Unkar Plot, whatever his name is.
Yep.
And so while they're searching the inside of the Falcon, they discover a bomb that was set there by Unkar. And so they're like, oh crap, we got like 30 seconds. And then they just...
So this is interesting because this is after Chewie got shot.
Yeah, because he has the bandage on his arm.
Bandage, yeah.
So they find the bomb, they bring it to the airlock, and then release it out in space. So this would take place on their route to Maz's castle. And so it's interesting how they had to deal with that, but they didn't show that in the movie, which is, I guess, could have been also a deleted scene, and they just didn't have it. I wonder though if they did have this like written down, like in the original like script.
They could have like all of Rey's stuff. They probably might have already had that all like potential scenes that they were gonna do, and they just decided not to do it.
Right. It'd be cool if they had like concept art for it.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And so John Boyega voices Finn in this episode, so he comes back for that. Next one.
Well, I mean, he didn't really come back because this is before Isn't this before Rise of Skywalker?
Oh yeah, this would have been just before Episode 8 came out.
Yeah, so
because these episodes
were still heavy in it.
Yeah, the first half of these episodes of the season came out in the summer of 2017, and the last half came out in the fall, mostly in October, but one in November. So This is all before episode 8 comes out.
Yeah.
But after this is Teach You I Will. And this is Anakin training Ahsoka with her 2 lightsabers for the first time while she's learning how to use 2 lightsabers, because originally she only had one, and then at some point she gets a second one. And so
she has a nose mark.
Oh gosh. And so she's doing terrible with 2 sabers with when she's dealing with Anakin, and then Yoda shows up to teach her how to do more. And the gist of the story is like, take what your masters teach you, but make them your own. So like, cause she was trying to be something, like she was kind of trying to do like the forms or the motions that she's just kind of like on paper, like what she's supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it's not doing anything.
She had no character.
Yeah. And so then she's like, then Yoda does his words of wisdom, and she's like, I think I understand. And she's like, I gotta make it my own. And so I thought it was interesting how there was a scene where she blocks behind her back against Yoda, and that's the same like block that she had against Vader in Rebels, which was
that's pretty cool.
So this was the fun one, because that's the only episode we've seen with lightsabers. I wonder if there's more in season 2 or not, but
no, because when she fought the droid, she used her lightsaber.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then she cut out the bomb.
Oh, and cut. Yeah, sorry. I guess it's like only like dual, I should say.
Yes.
But and again, so those are the same voice actors from Clone Wars. Good. Huh?
He looks fresh.
Oh, Anakin. Every Anakin looks completely different. Like none of them look anything alike. This is funny.
Yeah, that was who voiced Anakin. Is it
This is Matt Lanner, same from.
I get to meet him soon.
Did you see that he had emergency surgery last week and he's in the hospital?
Oh, so maybe I don't get to meet him.
So I don't know what the issue was, but last week was like Thursday. He got rushed to the hospital and had emergency surgery, and he's like recovering. So it wasn't like, I wonder if it was like an appendix or something.
Probably.
But usually appendix, you're in and out in a day.
Was he not in and out in a day?
No, I think he was hell over the weekend after surgery. He may still be in the hospital. I don't know. But
yeah,
I saw that on Instagram. Like Ashley Eckstein was posting about it, and then
so maybe I won't see him now. That sucks, but hopefully he feels better. Shout out to you, Matt. Get better soon.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Yep.
It was so crazy if he was like bored in the hospital. Like, let me just look up some Star Wars podcast.
Bored. Yeah, he was bored in the hospital and decided to listen to his favorite Star Wars podcast.
That'd be so crazy. Next week he sends in a voicemail as Anakin. he joins
he joins the VCU. Fans send him this clip and then give it to him.
He joins the VCU with voicing Anakin, like he comes back as a Force ghost.
Dude, let's go.
Oh, that'd be so. I'd grow a rat. I will grow a rat tail if that happens.
Chad, if you want to see Jeremiah grow a rat tail, clip this and send it to Matt. Like spam it to him in all his DMs, and maybe he'll listen to it and decide to do it. That'd be dope.
Yep. All right, next one, episode 12. I have the Starfighter Stunt, and so this is cool because Ahsoka is teaching Padme how to pilot a starfighter, which is crazy. I don't think, did we ever see Padme?
The blue starfighter at that too.
Well, the thing is, it was like a silver one, so it looked like Mando's. So like, I don't know if when they did Mandalorian, or not Mandalorian, Boba Fett, see the Book of Boba Fett, if they like, oh, Padme had this one in the Forces of Destiny. I wonder if we could just kind of take that color scheme of just a straight chromed out, basically, Naboo starfighter. Obviously, it's not the same. It's not a hot rod one like Mando has now, but it's the same color. So straight silver. It's not yellow, but
So it's not painted.
But Ahsoka has a yellow one.
Mm-hmm.
And so while Ahsoka is teaching Padme some stuff, a droid starfighter comes out and attacks them, and it takes out Ahsoka. Like,
I think it's interesting that like Padme has R2 and not Ahsoka, but then it kind of makes sense because
R2
like
is
he could
Padme's
help.
droid.
I thought it was Luke or Anakin's droid. Is it not?
No, because R2 was with Padme in Episode 1 originally, right?
She was on her ship. Yes, you're right.
So I think it is technically
her droid.
Padme's droid.
I just swear Anakin always has them.
Well, he does. Like in Clone Wars, always does have it, but Padme is letting him borrow it because they're together. Does he have at the beginning of Episode 2? Does he have it? R2?
I don't know about episode 2, or does but I know in episode 3 when they're flying, right, he has it. So I swear it's Anakin's.
No, it's originally Padme's. That's a fact.
True.
But I'm saying, like, did after Episode 1, did R2 go with Padme, and then when they meet up again in Episode 2, does R2 meet Anakin again? And that's like from that point forward.
If so, we never got a scene of like, oh, hi R2, long time no see.
Because we would have to like watch the beginning of Episode 2 where there's the attack on Padme's ship on the landing pad. I wonder if after that, like, if R2 is with Padme at that point. I would have to check. But yes, so Padme, or what is it? I forget who it was, Ahsoka or Padme. They say like droids don't know how to improvise; they just follow their programming. So you have to do something it wouldn't expect, and so there's like a comet flying right there, and so Padme flies into the tail of debris of the comet, slows down, and then pops back up behind, and then destroys the droid starfighter. So then they're like, okay, we should probably go back now.
Yeah, Jerica said that in a book that Padme brings him in as a spy / security. So
in Episode 1, or
I think like Episode 2, like in between 2 and 3. But yeah, Padme did bring him in Episode 2.
Okay.
Yeah. But then after, like, since the beginning of the Clone Wars, though, that was like R2 was like Anakin's. After that, I feel like.
Oh, right. Because even early on, I think in Season 1 of Clone Wars, R2 gets destroyed or lost in like a debris field after an attack, and like Anakin's like, we gotta go find him, or something like that. So that was like in Season 1 of Clone Wars. So that was early on that he had him, and then was already attached to him. So
yeah.
All right, Episode 13. Accidental Allies, and this is Sabine and Jyn Erso, and so
which I think this scene is pretty cool.
This was fun just because. So I think that this one would have taken place. I have to go back and look at the different looks of Sabine if she has different styles or looks.
This is like,
because I think
clearly seems like it's the same time as the Wolfcat stuff.
No, because I think that, well, maybe, but I feel like for sure this episode is after this one, and then there's the last one with Sabine and Ketsu again. I think these ones take place after Rebels, and probably maybe all three of them take place after Rebels, because it's just Sabine and Hera in this episode. Like, so there's not the whole crew there, and so And it just seems like Sabine looks older, and so this could have been just because between episode or
Is there a timeline on Wikipedia?
probably not. I don't know, but because Rebels ends 1 year before Rogue One / A New Hope, so definitely in this year span, you know, Sabine is going to age a little bit, like in her look, because she's only 3 years older than Ezra and Luke. So, at this age, she's going to be kind of aging fast. Like at this age, like a year or two is just can be a huge look difference in a person.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
So she's
especially when you're younger,
because she would definitely be. So if Luke is 19 in episode 4, she would be 22, probably. So if this is in that year span, she's 21, 22 years old. So she's a little bit older than when she was a late teen in Rebels. So definitely, I think she looked older. So I just kind of assumed that this was after Rebels.
Yeah.
And so Sabine, she has some information that she's stolen. Troopers are chasing her. She drops the device. Jin picks it up, and then the trooper starts chasing Jin. And then Sabine is like, "Crap, I lost my thing," and then realize that Jin has it. But they don't know each other. Jin's just kind of there, and so then.
But then Jin's also running from stormtroopers, so she knows
because they see that she has a device in her hand, so she just picks it up, and it's like, "Oh, that's her. She has it now." And so then Sabine catches up to Jin, helps block an alley or whatever, so the troopers can't get to her, and then say, "Hey, I was a loner too, but I need help from people. Like it's okay to help people." And then Jin's like, "Fine, I'll help." And it's almost like maybe something like this was what kind of inspired Jin to be helpful in Rogue One and concerned about others. Because then also in Rogue One, there's that scene where she goes and saves a kid who's in the middle of the firefight.
Yep.
And so I wonder if this interaction with Sabine was kind of like a changing of philosophy for her.
She saved a kid in this, or she saved a cat for the kid in this show too.
Right. So it's interesting that they kind of add to Jin's worldview of helping people and stuff. Because she was like a loner, like we know, and breaking laws and stuff. So this was definitely character building for Jin. And Felicity Jones did voice her as well. All right. So the next episode, An Imperial Feast.
It's weird because that was the one episode, the ones that you did, Jeremiah, one of them was off, but then all the other ones have been in order since.
I don't know.
That's weird. Maybe Disney Plus uploaded them wrong.
Wrong. Maybe. So An Imperial Feast. So
after
this is definitely after probably just after days after episode 6.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're on Endor, and Ewoks are still trying to eat stormtroopers. And so they're trying to and then Leia's like, "You can't do this. We got to be nice to our."
Well, it was like Han and Chewie are looking at the Ewoks about to eat them, and yeah, we should let them do it.
Oh, and Leia's like, "What are you guys doing? Why aren't you stopping them?" Blah blah blah. I was definitely Leia has to take care of Han and Chewie, but Leia's like, "Okay, go back to camp. We have food there, food rations, and Hera Syndulla is there." To take these rations. You can go to Hera and she'll give you some, and we can just feed the Ewoks with this because they're starving right now. And so we knew that Hera fought in the Battle of Endor. We find that at the end of Rebels, in the prologue or epilogue.
Yeah, epilogue.
that she ended up fighting there. So like we knew that, but it's cool to see her on Endor.
Did she have a kid?
Yeah.
Oh, we just don't see her kid.
Or in this episode?
Yeah, like wouldn't she have the kid or no? Or would she be pregnant right now?
No, she's already had a kid.
Oh, okay.
She probably had a kid around episode 4, like A New Hope is probably when she had a kid.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But no kid in this episode. She's too busy fighting in wars to take care of a kid, apparently. But so the deal is, so Han goes to Hera and is like, hey, I need some of this food. And so you can tell that they have history together because Hera, what is she? Just say it and you can have whatever you need. He's like, I'm not going to say it. And I knew what they were going to do. I was like, because they had both the Ghost and the Millennium Falcon right there next to each other. And I was like, they're going to have to make Han say the Ghost is a superior ship.
Yeah.
And so Han, fine, I'll say it. And he says the Ghost is a superior ship. And then Hera's like, hey, you can have all the rations you want.
But then even later, Leia like whispers to Han, like, it's not a superior ship.
Like we know, like we all know the Millennium Falcon is better. But that's a question though. Which one's better?
I'm gonna say the Falcon because I'm old school. I think did we have this discussion?
I think we've probably said it before, but I think speed wise, I would say the Millennium Falcon is probably better.
Mm.
But I think as like a ship to have, I think the Ghost is better for like offensive things, and it's also like I think better for living in too. Because it's bigger. It's definitely bigger.
It's way bigger, yeah.
So you have more space and whatnot. And obviously, you know, I think I've said before that I think Hera is a better pilot than Han. And so the pilot matters too. So like, what does Han do? He just knows how to go fast. Like, what does he actually do? We see tons of Hera doing crazy things flying.
True.
I'm just saying there's more evidence that Hera is.
I just know that Hera is better than Poe. I'll give her that. That's for sure.
Well, Poe was probably trained by Hera.
Exactly.
So he has probably very similar skill set.
Mm-hmm.
But it all depends on what you're flying to and who's flying it. So.
And yeah, exactly.
I think Hera is the superior pilot, but
all right.
But it's hard to say. But anyway, yes. So the Ewoks get fed with food rations. And that's the end of that story. Episode 15, the Hapabor Hazard, and so this is another Rey episode. And this one would take place before the events of The Force Awakens. And so
before R2 or before BB-8, before
all that stuff. So she needs portions of rations or whatever they're called. And in order to do that, Unkar Plutt is like, okay, I have a job for you. But he's like, but it's a team. Like, you need multiple people to do it. You can't just do it by yourself. And of course, Rey's like, I can do it by myself. I don't even know what it is, but I can do it. And it's like, you have to move the ship or whatever and bring it into town. Like, oh, I can do this. But when they get there, there's this giant hippo thing, Hippobor, which is this the thing drinking out of the trough when Finn goes? That's the same one, like creature. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I wonder if it's meant to be the same exact.
I think so. It seems like it's very similar.
So, for some reason, the ship can't be moved because this animal is laying next to it. Like, I didn't understand.
They're laying next to it or laying on it?
was not laying on it. It's just like next to it. Like, I didn't seem
No,
like
he was on like the foot, like the
landing gear or something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this
And
giant
it was
hippo
like angled at his side, so you couldn't you can't really get it out of there.
Okay. So Rey has to figure out how to move this animal out of the way so that she can move the ship. And she finds out there's this like giant piece of junk in the thing's nose.
Yeah.
And she removed it. But like, what does that have to do with anything? Oh,
he can't breathe, so he's not he doesn't want to move because he doesn't feel well.
Okay, so she takes that out of the nose.
2 hands inside the nostril.
Yep.
A big old nose.
And so then the thing moves.
Sneeze and the thing comes out. Rey's covered in boogers.
And so she's trying to move this thing with her little speeder thing that she has, and it's not
You know
moving.
what? It kind of looks like the thing that she feeds that the 2-eyed thing.
No, it's not. It doesn't look like him at all.
Huh?
Doesn't look like him at all.
No. The thing that was stuck in the nose looks like the electric box thing that she fed.
Oh.
Later on.
I don't think that's purposeful. I think it's just a chunk of something.
It'd be funny though if it you look back and there's green goo on it, like booger.
Oh, I mean, it could be. I'll have to go back and watch, because if it's the same thing, then
it's in the right order.
She dug it out of the thing's nose, and then later on picks it up and feeds it to the.
It looks similar.
Interesting. So she's trying to move the ship, but she can't move it because of her speeder's not strong enough. Mm-hmm. And then the hippobore ends up starts pushing it from behind, and then they bring in a town, and Uncharplat's like, "Oh, what? This is crazy!" And Rey's like, "You owe me 20 portions or whatever," and so that's that. And the last episode that I have, episode 16, is
which is probably why he was so cheap on her when she went and sold that stuff in episode 7.
She's like, "Oh, it was last week. It was twice this or something like that."
Maybe it's because he was pissed off that she actually got it.
That might be.
There you
go. So the last one is called Crash Course, and so this was kind of like a lame episode. It was just like it's Ketsu is doing a mission, and then but needs a speeder to do the mission, but the only speeder available is Sabine's, which is like a really nice speeder. And Ketsu does the mission, but accidentally destroys Sabine's speeder, and that's about it.
The speeder does look better than the speeders in Boba Fett. I'll give her that.
Oh, okay. And then Sabine's like, "Well, to pay off your debt, I'm gonna have to teach you how to become a mechanic, and we can rebuild this thing." So that's season 1 of Forces of Destiny. Mm-hmm. So let us know in the comments or on Discord or whatever if you want us to do season 2.
Because looking through just the thumbnails of season 2, you get pictures of the Darksaber.
Oh, yeah. You get some Bo-Katan action?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we'll do that next week.
It looks really good.
All right, well, maybe we'll think about it.
Org.
Ooh.
I don't know.
All right.
So season 2 must have been after Jedi then, right? The last Jedi.
It was the next year, so 2018. Spring 2018. So it was just before Han Solo came out, so between 8 and Han Solo.
All right. Yeah, it looks good.
So how'd you feel about season 1? Did you like it? You think it is what it is, or what would you say?
It's fine. It's not bad. And now that I know that it's canon, I feel like it's better. Like you said, you told me what was that Sunday about it
that we weekend.
this last weekend to do it. Like, let's do it. I was like, sure. And I watched it all like yesterday, and it only took me like 30 minutes to watch this whole season because they're only like 2 minutes long.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, the art style is interesting. It's kind of it's whatever. Like,
not 3D.
But like now that I know that it's canon, I don't know. It's not worth to watch. That's all. Like, what's wrong? Like, just put it on.
Yeah, if you just want some extra little added canon to your knowledge, just fill in some not holes, but like kind of like add this little extra context of things. It's nice to watch, and it's definitely really kid friendly. Like, you're not, like you said, like no one gets killed.
No one gets killed at all. I had it on the whole time with my kid.
Yeah, and he doesn't know what's going on anyway. So
true, that's fair. But
yeah.
Did you tell people in the Discord to watch it that we were doing that? Oh, because Jerica's like, yeah, she watched it on Saturday after.
For some reason, I almost screwed it up. Well, I did screw it up because I said we'll be going over this on Tuesday the 4th.
Oh, bro!
But next week is Tuesday the 5th. So then this morning in the Discord, Will was like, "So what are you guys doing for the podcast tonight?" And I was like, "Well, let's go look in the announcement thread on Discord." And he told me that the date was wrong. I was like, "Oh crap!" So then, but yeah, so like if it's something that like we have to watch beforehand to do on the Discord or for the podcast, I post in Discord, go watch this because this is what we're going to be going over. Just so
that's cool. So there you go. Join the Discord. Another reason to join the Discord.
Yeah, get a little sneak peek to what we'll be getting at.
What the podcast is. So
yeah,
and Jerica, happy birthday! I guess her birthday was over the weekend, so happy birthday, Jerica.
Yeah,
shout out to you.
21.
Ooh, oh yeah! Did you go crazy? Well, she's still here, so she survived. That's all that matters.
She survived.
She survived.
All right. Well, I don't really have a transition, so we like to drink. Well, a lot of us like to drink coffee, and so our sponsor once again for like the streak is longer than our voicemail streak of how long we have our sponsor. But Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea,
134 episodes.
Well, we didn't have it from the start.
Yeah, we did.
Really
because it was in the Mandalorian podcast. Or
it was?
Yeah, it was the first ad. We had an ad right away.
I don't even remember that. It's been so long.
Yeah, we just talked about it.
Sorry. Yeah. It's coffee. I don't really pay attention, so.
Okay. But you guys get to get a discount, so listen to the ad.
Yes, so let's hear from our buddy, Andrew Martin. Tell us about our sponsor.
Hey everyone, Andrew here. I'm pleased to tell you that the sponsor of today's episode is Wesley Andrews Coffee and Tea. If you don't know anything about Wesley Andrews, you definitely should. They're an award-winning coffee roaster and shop in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they make fantastic coffee. The awesome thing is that whether you live in the Twin Cities or not, you can get their coffee beans delivered straight to your door by ordering them online. They even have a subscription service that ensures you never run out of amazing coffee. If you've been looking for some new coffee to try or a way to elevate your normal coffee routine, now's your chance. Head over to wesleyandrews.cc, use the code EMPIRERADIO, that's with a capital E and a capital R with no space at checkout, to get 15% off your first purchase of any bags of coffee or a coffee subscription. I can't think of a better deal. Get 15% off some great coffee, support a small business, and support your favorite Star Wars podcast. In the words of Emperor Palpatine, do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can't believe it's been that long that we've been doing the ad, because we used to just say it because we didn't have a sound thing for it. So
yeah, and it was the sponsorship has changed. Like,
oh, that's right, because once
percentage.
It was 1%. Now it's more like a standardized thing for all.
Yeah, it used to be just for subscriptions, and
now it's 15% off anything on the site for first purchase.
So go get it. Get your coffee. Get your tea. Tea actually might be on the site now. For a while it wasn't, but it might be on the site now. So go check it out.
Fun. All right. Well, it's what
Mm.
time that everyone's been waiting for. Everyone's favorite time.
Yes.
Voicemail time.
It's voicemail time.
All right. So we got a ton of voicemails. And so
More than 12?
more than 12.
Good Lord. Shout out to you guys.
So we have 4 that are we'll call them the EU voicemails because they're not part of the VCU.
Only 4? So that means like
then we got a ton of. See, how many do we got that are part of the VCU? We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh gosh, we have 14 voicemails.
And
Yes,
and it's crazy because we'll listen to the first 4, then we'll go to VCU stuff. So first one is from Will.
Oh,
hello, Empire Radio. Will here. First off, I would like to say that this is not a VCU related voicemail, but they will be coming in the next week or so. And second of all, to those of you that send the normal voicemails, I don't know. I don't feel like your voicemail is less important than the VCU ones, because eventually the VCU will come to an end. Its time will have passed, and we will still love the normal voicemails that come in. They are just as important. So please keep sending them. Please.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Will is definitely right.
I was gonna say I was probably gonna say that, but Will already said it all for us. So
yeah.
shout outs to Will for doing her job.
Yeah, I know the VCU thing is a big deal right now, and we're having a lot of fun with it. But you can send in a voicemail, ask us questions, give us comments, and so don't be afraid, because we've been hearing a lot of the same people recently, so we could get some more variety. So like if you haven't never sent in a voicemail, send one in. It'll be a lot of fun, and especially we like to hear accents too. So like all you fans that are across the various ponds in the world that we know listen, like we got fans in Australia and Europe,
Canada, and stuff like that.
That's not across the pond.
That's true, but that's a different accent. Like that one guy, what was that guy's name? I forget.
The guy from Mexico who immigrated to Canada.
Yeah, that guy.
That was like one of our first ones, like in the first few months, I think.
Yeah.
And then he said, "May the force be with you" in Spanish, and I'm like, "Oh crap!"
Yeah, it was dope. So yeah, if you're listening, send us another voicemail. I want to hear from you again.
And
I forget your name. Sorry about that. It's been a while.
Yep. So definitely send in a voicemail. Anybody. All right. Next one from Jerica, and she has an interesting question that Drew's really gonna like because of the answer that I have to give.
Ooh.
Hey, Empire Radio, it's Jerica coming in with another voicemail. You guys know I'm a big book nerd, and I was wondering what Star Wars book is the next on your reading list. Also, this one is aimed a little more at Jeremiah. What will it take to get you to read Lost Stars? Because that book is probably my favorite book of all time because it is so good. I hope you all have a great day, and may the force be with you.
All right, give it to me.
Well, the first question is, what is the next book that we plan on reading? So, I'm assuming, did she mean for the podcast book reviews?
Yes.
So
that's the only books you read. So
that is true. So nothing planned yet. I'm guessing it'll probably be the next High Republic book, which comes
I
out
literally saw one today.
in the fall. Huh?
There is one. I don't think it's not part of like the original, but I think it was about like the what are the bad guys? Why am I
Nihil.
Yeah, it was like just about the Nihil and like one.
Well,
of the
there's other because we read the adult novels, and then there's like
the youth novels,
the youth novels, or whatever. So that take place during the same time. So it might have been one of those.
Yeah, I saw it today at Target. And I was like, oh, I forget the title for some reason, but I think it just came out, and the title like grabbed my eye. And I was
Something
like,
of the dark, or in the dark, or
no, it like literally just came out because it was like on the new shelf at Target.
Oh, I don't know, but I know is it this fall the next adult novel for the High Republic is coming out, and that I've learned takes place 150 years before Phase 1.
Oh wow!
So Phase 2 is kind of like a prequel type thing. So I was kind of excited to see what's going to happen after the effects of the Fallen Star, and now they're going to kind of do a prequel thing. So Phase 3 is not going to. It'll probably be when we get answers to our.
So is that technically Phase 1, and we just read Phase 2?
No, we just read Phase 1. It's like the trilogies of the movies. They the first one is the second one, and the second one is the first one. So it's just like it. So it'll probably be one of those. Now I've kind of hinted before, like I'm not against reading the canon Thrawn novels.
Oh,
I just know that's a lot of reading to do.
It is, but it's so worth it.
So like, I don't know. It would be hard for me to sit and read unless like we would have to have a podcast episode for those for me to have the motivation, but we would definitely need Andrew here for that.
True.
Because he's way better at...
He'd probably come back for that, though.
Yeah. Because he's way better at remembering book stuff than I am. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't want to lead that conversation at all. But so for that question, Jerica, I would say for sure the next adult High Republic book, this probably would be what would be on air next. But other than that, I don't know. But for your second question, aimed at me, what would it take for me to read The Lost Stars? So Drew says it's not a romance novel, but it kind of makes it sound like it's a romance novel, and I don't care about romance.
Okay, stuff. It is in the sense of like there's two characters who are in love, but they're not together. Like they're together in the beginning and kind of close to the end, and then like throughout the book, but their characters develop separately.
But
which
still
makes
a love
it
story.
So good. Yeah, but it's not. Dude, trust me.
Okay, anyway, so based on that alone, it's hard for me to even like have any desire because I don't care about love stories and romance and all that nonsense. So like I want $400,000 so I can buy a house. That's my terms. $400,000 because houses are super expensive right now, and any house in my area under $300,000 is crap.
And my house is under $3,000. It's not bad.
That's not the kind of house I would want to live in. Sorry. I need it like a 3-bedroom 2-house or two house. 3-bedroom.
Just buy your parents' house.
Even then, I couldn't afford that, and that had a lot of stuff I needed to fix on that. I didn't want to do that, but I just want like a nice house that like, I don't have to do anything with. I don't want to repair anything. I don't want to fix her upper. I just want to show up with a key.
Jerica's like, I don't have that kind of money, Jeremiah. Also, Jerica, I would not even get mad at you if you decided no longer to listen because that's ridiculous. You ask him to read one book, and his response is $4,000.
$400,000. Okay, how about this? What if I settle for this? A little bit more reasonable, but still expensive. I want a 4K smart TV, PlayStation 5, and then all the setup I need so I can do.
So you say once you get all that stuff for yourself, then you will.
No, that's not what I said. I said you would have to buy it for me.
Oh.
Because I would want the TV, the PlayStation 5, and like all the stuff I need to do Twitch streaming of video games. Because then I would start doing like Star Wars games and stuff on Twitch.
Well, there you go, Jericho. Start a GoFundMe for
a good 4K TV.
For Jeremiah,
be like $1,500. What is the PlayStation 5? Is that $600, $700? So it's probably like all together. I probably need like
$2,000,
$300,000,
no, $3,000,
$3,000, $3,500 to get everything I need.
Yeah. So Jericho, start a GoFundMe for.
I would prefer the house. Because
we're not even talking about that. Let's focus on this.
I want a studio, like an office studio, where I can have everything for the podcast in there. I can do live stream stuff in there. And then I can have like a spare room, and then 2 bathrooms, a finished basement. I don't need a second floor. I don't care about second floors. And like it has to have a gas. I need a gas stove because gas stoves are superior to any other form of indoor.
I have a really nice gas stove.
I know, I've seen it. All right.
Anyways, so
Jerica,
your answer was horrible. You were like, can't wait for your answer. That was horrible, Jeremiah. I'm disappointed. I was really thinking you're gonna like the next one is Lost Stars.
No, that's not gonna happen. All right, so the next one we got is the one that we said we need to have resent in because we couldn't hear because it was like the internet was wrong, bad or something when it was recorded. But here is a voicemail from Gollum, and he has a question for us.
What is it got in its pocket,
Yes, the first. Yes, we do.
Goblins is you. They will find the precious. Glenn.
That's the question.
No, Glenn. What is your favorite Lord of the Rings characters?
That can be Smeagol.
No, Glenn.
So our question is, what is our favorite Lord of the Rings characters?
Yes, Gollum wants to know.
Right,
so Drew, this is more up your alley than mine.
So
who is your favorite character or characters?
That's hard. Probably Strider. Probably Strider, Legolas, and I'm trying to think. I don't know. Bilbo before he went crazy is pretty good.
All right. Now, I've said a lot of times on the podcast, I'm not a fan of the Lord of the Rings. I know. It's pretty crazy. I never really
definitely read Lost Stars before we do a podcast about Lord of the Rings. I'll tell you that.
I don't know. I'd rather sit and watch a movie than to read a book. But
you can listen to the watch.
So Lord of the Rings is very forgettable for me, so it's hard for me to like remember any characters. So the Gollum Smeagol character is iconic.
True.
So just because the emotion that he has in a movie is interesting. The crap, I don't even know. Is it the dwarf that has like the kill count with Legolas? What's his name?
You don't know his name?
No, I don't know his name. Can you just say it? Gosh, just say it. You're not gonna say it?
If you read the book, I'll say it.
Oh gosh, whatever. So those are my two favorite characters. So next one is so the first voicemail is from Gollum, but this one is from Smeagol. So let's listen to that.
The common intelligence of the does touches this button. It must save us, yes it does. They started from us. Oh, my precious, they catch it. They use it to power the weapon. Yes, the weapon. They come in their white armor, and they shoot us, and they catch us, and they don't let us eat food, my precious. It isn't fair.
All right, so I believe he said that their precious was stolen, and they used it to power the weapon. So I think, I'm not sure if that's referring to like blasters or a lightsaber. At first I thought it was maybe the Death Star is powered by the ring, but that is interesting that they could do that. They could steal. If there was the crossover between Lord of the Rings and Star Wars, that the ring could be used as a power source.
I mean,
very powerful source.
Definitely could.
All right, so thanks for that, Smeagol and Gollum.
Yes. No, like, if this was not them and someone sent this in, your voice acting was really well. So, jealous.
Right.
But if this is really them, sweet.
Yes. It was, like I said before, like, it was nice. We want like people with accents to send in. Well, this was kind of like an accent. Like,
that's a fake accent. Two of them, and they're both really good.
All right, so that was the last of the regular voicemail. So now we're transitioning over to the VCU.
All right, here we go.
Now, so I had to make some hard decisions with the continuity of this one. And so now I almost had a heart attack because I wrote the things in order of how I want to play them. And, you know, then just before, really 2 minutes before we started, Drew was like, "Did you see Lucy sent in a voicemail a few minutes ago?" I'm like, "What?" I just checked, like, literally, I got home from work. I checked the email, saw there was no new voicemails. And I set everything up, ate dinner. And then he's like, "Yeah, she sent another voicemail." I was like, "Oh no, hopefully this doesn't screw up with my continuity that I put together." And it doesn't screw anything up. So there's that. But I had to make a hard decision with the continuity, and it kind of, a certain individual, unfortunately, is kind of kicked to the curb. Maybe, I don't know how you want to say it, but
that'd be nice.
But let's just hear our first one. So last week we had a name drop. Was it last week? Yeah. That the secret spy, rebel spy that's in the Empire is Boss Nass's boss. Mm-hmm. So let's hear a message from Boss Nass's boss. And I should say his voice is a little different in this one. So let's just listen to him for a sec.
Hello, Empire Radio. It's the Boss Nass boss. I know you've been waiting for the voicemail, but Misa in hiding in the planet called Misa not supposed to tell nobody. Misa heard the Lucy got captured and told some bad bombing of Misa location. So Misa into hiding.
All right. So Boss Nass is in hiding. He got called out by Lucy, and now he's in hiding. But so I'm thinking. So he said he's in the planet core, classic Gungan. So maybe that's why his voice was a little different, is because he's in the planet core.
It's deep. The audio's
the acoustics, the gravity is a little different. So I'm just gonna assume that that's why the voice was different, not because someone else chosen to send in a voice. But yes, so it's good to hear from you, Boss Nass's boss. We wish you the best in your hiding. Hopefully, nothing bad happens to you. All right. So the next one, that's going to be more in the. So a lot of these next ones are going to be a lot of plot ones moving forward. So, first one for plot wise is Lucy. Her one of two that she sent in.
Hi everyone, it's Lucy from another First Order prison cell. I'm not speaking to Poe and BB-8, and I'm barely on speaking terms with Will after he started a big argument. Yes, you did. No, it's your fault. Fine, Will, be that way. Anyways, I have an important message for Colonel Valen Doss, who I hear wants to defect. Come find me and break me out of here, and I will get you out to the Resistance. What do you want? Well, traitor, the Emperor says you have a secret you aren't telling us. He's sending his best agent here to talk to you. I hear he's a brilliant mastermind who can get anyone to crack and play into our hands. Wait, mastermind? Maybe a really smart one who studies art and is blind to politics? Well, I can... Hey! Dakai? What are you doing here? Hello, Lucy. It's been a while.
All right. So, Lucy. So last week we heard about a defector in the ISB. Valen Doss wants to leave the Empire, join the rebellion. Lucy heard about him and was like, "Hey, you get me out of here. I'll put you into the Resistance." But while she's doing this, the Inquisitor comes in and says, "We think you have more information. A mastermind is being sent in, and it seems like it might be Thrawn that was being implied." Mm-hmm. And then we hear a gunshot, and then a new character comes in who knows Lucy, and her name is Dakai, I believe. So that happened. So now the plot thickens a lot, and so that being said, let's listen to the second voicemail from Lucy, which was just added minutes before we started recording, and it's a juicy one from Lucy.
Dakai? What are you doing here? Hello, Lucy. It's been a while. I don't understand. How did you get here? Why did you kill the 8th sister? What, you thought the Mandalore Resistance wouldn't be up to anything after you left us? Does that mean you've decided to join me in the rebellion? We will never join your resistance. Will you at least help me finish escaping? That depends. You can choose freedom and come back to us. If not, this blaster can always be used again. You're not gonna shoot me, Dakai. I know you all hate me, but I am trying to protect you from Palpatine. We do not need your protection. You are weak, but come back and we will help you remember what it is to be Mandalorian. Being a Mandalorian means standing up for justice, fighting to help others, making a better world. It isn't being arrogant and heartless. This is your last chance, Lucy. Come back to the family, or die.
That's some spicy stuff there. So
Lucy's a Mandalorian.
Was a Mandalorian, but she left. And Dakai is a Mandalorian. Now, we don't know exactly why Dakai has come. I don't know if it's to try and recruit Lucy back or what, but Takai is also ready to kill Lucy for leaving. So this is crazy. And we find out
maybe Takai was hunting Lucy.
Maybe. And so, but I think she said the Mandalorian resistance. So like the Mandalorians have their own resistance against the Empire,
but it has
Order.
Nothing to do with like the
right. So this is very interesting. And so Lucy seems to say that like that the Mandalorians have fallen from their true identity because what Lucy's doing with the resistance is a true characteristics of a Mandalorian. And so there's this, Mandalorians, they like to argue with each other and divide each other and stuff. So classic Mandalorian stuff here going on. So it kind of leaves us on a cliffhanger for that part. So that being said, we have some voicemails from Emperor Palpatine. So we have 3 of them, and they're kind of interesting. And so let's take a listen.
Hello, Empire Radio. This is Sheev Palpatine calling. I just wanted to inform you that our conquest and our expansion of the First Order is going according to plan. Oh, 1 second. I'm getting a call from Grand Admiral Thrawn. Hello, Thrawn. How goes your Inquisition of the Outer Rim? What do you mean? I'm not following. What do you mean that Gungans are attacking Mustafar? And not just Mustafar. What do you mean in the unknown regions? You're saying that the Chiss Ascendancy is under siege by Boss Nass? No, this is ridiculous. You're joking. Oh, I'll be right back, Empire Radio.
All right. So if you remember from last week, Boss Nass called in. He's like, I don't like the Empire, the First Order. I don't like the Resistance. I'm going to start my own third party here, the Gungan, the Grand Army of the Gungans or whatever. And he's going to start his own thing and take over the galaxy. So the Gungans are attacking Mustafar. And also in the Outer Rim territories, where the Chiss are from, right? Because I don't know a lot about Thrawn stuff and the Chiss Ascendancy, all that stuff. That's book stuff, like we just mentioned earlier. But Boss Nass, he's starting to be a little boss. He's taking down some big threats, and so there's that voicemail from Palpatine, and so Palpatine got interrupted by Thrawn, so this is him returning back with the second voicemail.
Hello again, Empire Radio. Apologies for that. I was having to deal with some mess that Thrawn was going off about. Anyways, as I was saying, everything is going as I have foreseen it. Oh, 1 moment. I just got a notification that somebody's here. Come in. Ah, the 17th brother. Pleasure to see you again. You found a Jedi. What? Where is he? Aiding the resistance? Naturally. You apprehended one of those traitorous scum already, Poe Dameron. I'm sure you can apprehend this Jedi as well. Go. Helicopter your lightsaber around and find him.
This was a funny one, just because. So, 17th brother, we called in last week. He is the one who captured Poe, and so, but he heard that a Jedi killed Vader, and he was on hunt for that Jedi, which we were assuming it's Luke. There's a misinformation out in the galaxy. And now we find out that he has found a Jedi aiding the Resistance, but no names have been dropped. And so Palpatine says, now helicopter your blade around and look for him.
This is like the, what was that? what's that chicken show? What is it? Robot chicken version of Palpatine.
Well, this voice reminds me a lot of Palpatine from
Lego?
how it should have ended cartoons.
Oh yeah, or that kind of stuff.
Very similar voice, and so it reminds me of that. But so Palpatine was talking to us, and then he got interrupted again by the 17th brother. So now let's hear a third message from Palpatine.
All right. We'll give this one last shot. It's a busy day for me, Empire Radio. Everything is going as I have foreseen it. Oh, I'm getting a call here again. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Mosamida. Mosamida, please. What do you mean Colonel Doss is a spy? The new head of the ISB is a defector? Oh, I knew that Wolf Yularen shouldn't have retired. I don't understand. How do you know? This is ridiculous. You apprehended a transmission. They'll throw him in the brig. I want to see that scum brought to justice. And he will not be leaking any more Imperial secrets anytime soon.
All right.
Dang.
So Valen Doss, we're getting a lot of stuff with him now. So the Empire / First Order knows about Valen Doss wanting to defect, and he's the head of the ISB. And Palpatine says, capture him, throw him in prison. So now that being said, let's hear a voicemail from Valen Doss himself.
Hello, Empire Radio. This is Colonel Valen Doss. I've been apprehended by the Imperials and thrown in the brig. Actually, I'm in the brig with two others that you may know, Will and Poe Dameron and Lucy. Yeah, they're just kind of chilling here with me, and I'll likely be executed for treason, but I'm happy I got to meet them. Because now I have direct connections with the Resistance. Actually, no, not Lucy, no. Oh, I'm sorry. She is definitely on Team Palpatine. Yeah, everything. They've got this all wrong. Yes. But now I've got lots of Imperial secrets. I'm locked in the brig with these two. Maybe I can tell them some things. We're formulating an escape plan as well, so stay tuned. We'll get back to you.
All right. So I just realized I probably should have played this one earlier.
Because this is before Lucy's friend comes, right?
Right. And so he gets captured and is thrown in the same prison cell as do they only have one prison cell at this
it's
facility?
A small ship. Okay. It's a small ship.
Facility or whatever they're at. But so before Lucy's friend shows up, but here's the thing. Well, I guess this isn't necessarily out of order because Lucy, when she sent in her voicemail, said that she's only in prison with Poe, BB-8, and Will. And so maybe at this point, was her name Dakar?
Mm-hmm.
Dakar, maybe something happened where Dakar left, and either she left because troopers were coming, and maybe she left because they're bringing in Valen Doss into the prison cell.
Yeah.
So we can go with that. That's part of the canon, that her confronting Lucy was interrupted by Valen Doss being brought to the prison cell. So we're gonna go with that. That's one of the canon decisions we're making right now as we speak. Now, this is where I had to make a really hard decision for continuity issues, because I'm going to say that these next three are a time jump forward a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And so we might need some voicemails to come in to kind of fill in
this gap
so that it makes sense moving forward. And based on the content of what is said in these next three, who are from Will, I think Will got left behind and he's by himself now in prison. So let's listen to the first one from Will.
Hey, Empire Radio. Will here. It seems like the trooper that put me in this cell didn't really think all the way through. They forgot to take this lightsaber I have right next to me, attached to me. Like, how do you forget that? And now, there's something I must do. Oh. Hold on, let me be right back. Yeah. I'm gonna figure this out, I promise. We're gonna get out of this somehow.
Alright, so apparently Will had a lightsaber this whole time.
Yeah, we didn't know that, right?
We didn't know that yet.
Okay.
So it's broken. He tried to turn it on and it didn't work. Mm-hmm. So I think he didn't mention anything about anyone in the cell with him. So
I wonder if BB-8 had Rey's lightsaber on him.
Well, we'll get information in these next two things. So this next one was also from Will, so let's listen to that. A direct continuation of the first one from him.
Hello, Empire Radio. Will here. And it seems like I have solved the issue here. Come on now. I know Luke didn't have to deal with this. Okay. As I was saying, I have found the issue.
Push it and twist.
It is currently being resolved. So, without further ado, I believe we have some business to take care of.
All right. So Will fix his lightsaber. So that sound, is that like supposed to be like the ringing of the kyber crystal? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's like
the call of the. Okay, that's what I was assuming.
That was the kyber crystal calling.
All right, and so he fixes lightsaber. So let's get a little bit more information about this lightsaber of his from this final one from Will.
Hello, Empire Radio. Will here. I'm sure you have many questions, such as how did you get your hands on a purified lightsaber?
True.
The answer is quite simple. Yes, that is BB-22 you hear. It seems they forgot about my droid, and in the meantime, he has gone around the perimeter. He has even noticed some type of trooper saying how they want to defect.
Ooh.
And he is such a smart droid, let me tell you. So, he knew that the Empire would be less active when it's lights out.
Yep,
so he slipped me the lightsaber in my sleep. What a smart droid, huh? Who's a good droid? You are.
All right. So, weeks ago, when we heard BB-8 for the first time, Will had BB, was it 22?
Yeah, 22, yep.
So, apparently when Will went looking for BB-8 when he disappeared to go find Poe, he brought BB-22 with him. And so he was searching the parameters of the facility, apparently, and then Will got captured. So the droid was still outside. And so then he ended up finding Will and was able to sneak him a lightsaber. So that's how he got the lightsaber.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm kind of confused because he made it sound like he was captured with the lightsaber. Oh no, the broken one.
No.
The broken one was on him, and then
no.
BB-22 brought him. What? I'm kind of confused.
No, BB-22 brought it to him in his sleep, but he didn't know how to work it. Apparently,
he brought him a second saber.
I think that's the first saber.
Okay.
I don't know. Ask Will. He sent them in. So.
All right, Will. You can. How about this? You can either send in another voicemail, or you can just message me in Discord. Did BB-22
or tell me right now in the chat because you're in here.
Or tell us in the chat.
Did BB-22 bring it, or is there two
purified
lightsabers?
He said something about purified lightsaber. So did BB-22 bring him parts or something to fix? So I'm kind of confused. So either way, while we're waiting on Will on that, I had to make the decision that Will got left behind because he didn't mention anything about Lucy.
BB-22 brought him the lightsaber, but he didn't know how to work it at first.
But he said that the troopers that captured him didn't check him when it was hanging on him.
He did say that.
So I'm kind of confused on.
Well,
so is this like? So luckily we have this as like I said, this is like a time jump. So I don't know. We'll figure something out. But I had to make a decision that Will was left behind because there was no mention of anyone else. And if he had a lightsaber this whole time while in there with everybody else, like then they would have figured something out. So. So whatever happened with Dakar happened, and Lucy said that she and Will had a big fight, and so maybe Lucy didn't want to save Will or something. So somehow Will got left behind. So he's by himself, imprisoned, but he has a working lightsaber and he has BB-22 with him. So at this point, who knows? Maybe Lucy and Poe and BB-8 are all dead. I don't know. And Will's the only survivor, or maybe they escaped. I
guess we'll find out.
We heard that it seemed to imply that Thrawn was on his way to interrogate Lucy. So maybe Lucy is with Thrawn right now being interrogated.
True. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're not still there. It could just mean that they got taken out. And maybe that one guy is dead, though. The traitor.
Valen Das?
Yeah.
He might have gotten killed. But last we heard that he's still good, so.
True, but we time jump, so.
I don't know. So, we need to get these, this VCU a little straightened out. So hopefully, I'm going to stick with this being somewhat of a time jump, whether it's the next day, a few days, but we have missing storyline between Dakar threatening to kill Lucy and these voicemails from Will that he has a lightsaber. So something happened between there. We need to fill in that gap. And we know that there's a Jedi somewhere out there because the 17th brother is helicopters flying around with his lightsaber trying to find him because he tracked someone down. So I don't know. So we got a lot going on. The Gungan army is taking over.
Yeah, there's a full war right now too.
Right now, so I don't know how this is all going to come together because we got the prison storyline, and then you have all the other stuff going on outside the galaxy, in the galaxy doing stuff. So the VCU is alive and well. We got to have a little continuity issues like they were trying to figure out, but
it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be. Though
it's not as bad. It's lasted longer than I thought. And so yes, so that's the end of the voicemails for tonight. And so I want to know how the story continues. And so definitely keep the VCU alive for those of you who are involved. But yeah, that's tonight's episode. So
the chat's asking, how did we not get one from Boss Nass this week? ?
Did we have one from Boss Nass? I think, did Zarnatobius ask that?
Yes, he did.
Did I miss one? Let me see. All right, so yes, we do have. I forgot to play that. So here is a voicemail from Boss Nass.
Hello, Empire Radio. Me's just calling to say that me's thinking that you's a big bombad, and that we's capturing Mustafar in the outer rim. When we's going into the big bombad space, we's finding these weird blue people, and we's showing them what the Gungans are made of. They's hard, but we's gonna fight harder, and we's gonna win and conquer the galaxy.
Oh wow! So they're going a full bad.
All right, you're right. So Boss Nass, he's took over Mustafar, and he's fighting some blue people, which are assumingly the Chiss. And so he's looking to take over the galaxy.
Yeah.
So that is some more VCU action there. Came in clutch with the Twitch stream.
Yep.
Making sure that everything got played. So that's why you gotta, if you're sending a voicemail,
sometimes it's worth watching us live.
Just watch us live, so that it's the first time I've missed one. So sorry about that, but
true. You almost missed two too.
I almost missed. This could have been a train wreck of a night. I would have to hang up my mic and retire. But
well, we don't want that.
We don't want that. So that's tonight's episode. We talked about the first season of the Forces of Destiny.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun, and we did some voicemails. The VCU is alive and well. So all we gotta do now is just talk about our socials, and we can go to bed. So,
well, we can go to bed, but when they listen to this, they have a lot of stuff to do their day probably when this comes out.
So just go to links.co/Empire Radio. Links with 2 I's. It'll be a landing page for everything Empire Radio related, to our Instagram, to Facebook, to YouTube, to the Discord. If you want to join Discord, join the Discord. If you want to leave a voicemail, and you can also find a link to needlesslydirty.com, network of podcasts that we are part of, and they're adding some new stuff on there coming soon. So definitely check them out. And what else? Anything else?
A little update from Icccon. Me and Andrew will be doing a live podcast from there, and it will actually be uploaded to their YouTube and their Facebook. So it'll be the Saturday before the May 1st. Which is that? What is that?
Be the 30th.
The 30th. Yes. So next month on the 30th, 3:00 on Saturday. So you'll have to tune in to Iccccon's YouTube page and or Facebook to catch us live. So it'll be pretty fun. I'm pretty excited for that.
That's exciting. So
yeah,
like in front of an audience.
How is it in a conference room? But I think it is open to a live audience. So yes. So if you're going,
so you gotta bring all your own equipment and stuff.
No, they're doing. They have it all set up. We just show up.
Really?
Yeah, because it's going live on their socials, and then they're gonna also send us a copy of it too. So we will most likely post it on our YouTube, and maybe the audio. We might actually use that for the week's podcast. We have to go over that with me and Jeremiah post stuff, but. Anyways, yeah, so we will be doing a podcast from there, me and Andrew. And if you are going to Icccon and you're there Saturday, you can probably come watch us live and hang out with us. And if there's people in there, we're going to probably talk to them a lot. So
cool.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
It's going to be fun. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's it for me.
All right. Well, you've been listening to another canon-tastic episode of Empire Radio. I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Drew.
And may the Force be with you.
Always.